Everyone you know is doing it. So what? Who cares what you think? Everyone you know is doing it. The skeletons you try to hide get you in the end. The truth shines through with all your lies, but you still pretend. Can't fake it, deny it, you try to fight it. The skeletons you try to hide get you in the end. For every game that you play, no bones about it. You're lying to my face, no bones about it. Now the skeletons you try to hide get you in the end. The truth shines through with all your lies, but you still pretend. Can't fake it, deny it, you try to fight it. The skeletons you try to hide get you in the end. The skeletons you try to hide get you in the end. The truth shines through with all your lies, but you still pretend. Can't fake it, deny it, you try to fight it. The skeletons you try to hide get you in the end. Get you in the end. No bones about it. That was Dangerous New Machine. Eric Rogers used to be in Stereo Mud. But they were Stereo Mud before they changed the name to Dangerous New Machine because some of the guys, I guess, in Stereo Mud weren't happy about it. But it would be great to either see those guys back out or Stereo Mud itself. So they were a great band. But I'm Jay Stone, as you know, and I've been coughing up a lung. But the show is at rockmetaltalk.com. It was pretty successful tonight. I feel good about the show, and I feel good about all the comments and, people digging what I do. So, sometimes this is rough because when I look at my schedule every week, it's like, you know what, one day of my 2 days off is completely dedicated to radio. I prepare for the show. I go through emails, which, again, I still got about 100 emails to go through, so I apologize to all the bands who sent stuff in. I'm trying to catch up. It's not easy. I don't have interns anymore. I don't have all the bullshit. So I got to do it as I can. It's just one of those things, and being out with the flu and not feeling right. Today's the best I felt in fucking 10, 12, 13 days, something like that. So it's definitely been a bummer to be going through this shit. So it's not easy. But again, the schedule is full. Next week, Brett from Creep. March 8th is Downfall 2012. The 15th, there's no guest. I'm rebroadcasting Tim from 16 Second Stare, an interview we did back in 2010. Raven from 5 Star Hookah, who was also the bass player, Mr. Nasty, longtime friend of the show. March 29th is Verse the Theory. Then we move into April. April 5th, Hell Came Home will be on the show. April 12th, Mark Radon. I believe that's how you say it. The 19th is The Isolated Antagonist. A couple of guys from them. And April 26th, a band that's being, working with them. They're sponsored, endorsed by us. We're still working out, all the details and what happens. I promote these guys. They get VIP to the show and all that. Born into Exile. So there's 4 bands right now. Basically, I give you a spot on the page. We promote each other. You promote the show. I put your stuff out there. Your shows. I do live reads for your commercials. I'll repost on my social media, all that stuff. We do the same. Use logos. Put your name on the artwork and stuff like that. Hopefully we'll be putting shows together where we get some of these bands to play live when they're in Florida. So that's going to be a whole nother thing, maybe a compilation CD, something to that effect. But we'll get a couple of things going. Of course, everybody's always messaging me during the live show. I have about 10 messages up on my screen. I've only been responding to one person, so I apologize. But everybody's asking me about spring training and stuff like that. I've used a lot of my time, so it's going to be a rough one. But I definitely am going to get to a couple of games. That's what people are messaging me right now. Are you going? But that's all gonna have to be panned out. I don't have that much time, Like I said, I use a lot of my time in the beginning of the year because that's just how I roll. But anyway, there's a lot of exciting things coming up for the show. Trying to keep as much promotion and doing what I can and keeping bands on and keeping people coming back. So I do appreciate you listening to the show when your friend's band is on and stuff, but please come back and listen to other shows. I'm developing the show, and I'm going to be adding more guests on as it goes through and playing less music tracks, because that's the way the show is going to have to evolve, because obviously I'm so booked. I'm going to have to extend show times and stuff like that. I am considering lightening the load as far as a lot of these affiliate stations. A lot of them don't have that many listeners. It just really depends. There's only 3 main ones I promote, but it's a lot of work for me to deal with the other ones, because I have time restraints and stuff like that, and I'm really not in the mood for editing. And if I have to go through all that, you got to have some type of listenership. So it's just one of those things. But we're all over the place. Please download the show on iTunes. You just look for the Jay Stone Show. It's out there. And just keep tuning in, man. That's what's basically going to keep the show going. The reason I put the shirts out there is because the profit that I'm taking from the shirts, I'm paying off shirts. We're part of it, and any of the profit's going to go to buying CDs and helping bands out, the sponsored bands, and doing stuff like that. So I'm going to have a sale on the shirts coming up, but right now, if you go, the pre-order's over, so the price now includes the shipping where it was free previously. But please, it takes 2 seconds, you get something in return, and it's going to help keep the show on the air and help keeping the promotion. It's easier for me to sell a shirt than to tell a band that, well, you got to sell tickets for my show or something like that. But, that's a little hard when it's an internet radio show, but you get my drift. But every penny definitely counts, so it's just one of those things. We thought about, bringing back the video portion of the show, but you still have to do licensing and pay bands that way. So it just incurs another cost of editing video and program and just more time consuming. So I think the radio format's the best way, because people like live radio. There's nothing like listening to the show live. It's just one of those things. It's something I love to do, and I love to be part of, the career of some of these bands and seeing them develop and give them the opportunity to get on the air and hash that out. So when they do get on bigger shows, they have some level of experience and say, hey, man, I didn't do that bad. It's a confidence builder as well, because a lot of the bands that come on have never done anything like this before. And that's new to me, because normally, when I first started this show, I had a lot of bigger names. But again, when you have the bigger names, do they really bring anybody? Because it's nothing. Their story is something you heard a million times. You never heard the story. If you're a fan of my show and never heard the recast, you never heard their story before. And that's what makes it more intriguing to be part of a live radio situation. So, but with that said, we're almost at 100 minutes here, and I hate saying how many minutes we're running, but, I got shit I got to play and get out there. So I do want to play another band who's been a big supporter of the show. So in another fashion, I get to play this guy. This was his band Triptaka. The song is called Second War. I'm Jay Stone. You listen to my show live at Rock MetalTalk.com. I gotta need it, I take it all. Yeah. But Rob Zombie and Korn are gonna go out on a co-headlining tour with In This Moment. Manson going co-headlining with Slipknot. Don't care about. I'm sorry, just don't. I've seen Slipknot. Don't care to see them or pay for a ticket that is twice the price to just go home after Manson, because I'm sure he's going to, if you go by how much a band makes, Manson's probably going to do most of the shows first, which isn't a bad thing because